This is another episode of The Drops. It's episode 7. I don't know why I can't get that together today, y'all. But episode 7 of The Drop. I'm Nick Reed. I'm here with my main man, Morgan Smith. Got
What's
Zach
up?
Daddy over there. And as always, Cam Sullivan behind the computer today. How we feeling today, fellas?
Man, I'm tired from this weekend. A lot of driving back and forth, but we got a team going to the state tournament. I'm excited about it.
Exactly. I was just about to say, driving back and forth for great reason. I don't know the last time a team from around here made it to the state tournament, but shout out to the Hooks Hornets.
We've had a bunch of people asking the page, but I genuinely don't know the answers. So
I don't know the year. I want to say the Liberty Isle girls were probably the last team from here to go to the state tournament, and they brought that home. Hopefully Hooks can do the same. But you guys were actually in the building Saturday for that last game. Tell me a little bit about that.
Hooks had them out athleted, had better basketball players, whole 9 yards. But shout out to Mineola. They made a couple runs throughout the game, but Hooks was just the better team. I think that Ponder team they played Friday night, which, by the way, was the best basketball game I've ever seen in person. Well, let me rephrase. I have something that'll never top. I don't think I'll ever be able to top. All right? And I always just exclude it because it was so wild, I don't think we'll ever see it happen again. But I remember being as a kid, a Longview girls basketball game for a district championship. They scored 7 points in 8 seconds to win.
Oh, wow.
And I'll never forget that. I don't think that'll ever be topped. But as far as excitement, the crowd, the situation, couldn't believe what you saw. Like, it was definitely that. Kid comes down, hits that three to tie it up from the corner, which, by the way, he's lethal from the corner.
Yeah.
And then just everything that transpired, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable game Friday. Saturday game, they were just a better basketball team.
And Dodie, you got to make the trip down Saturday. We want to talk about your debacle.
It was a great time. I enjoyed it. The Hooks atmosphere was incredible. They traveled very well, and they have all season. I mean, like Morgan was saying, and getting to watch on the live from Friday night, it was an incredible atmosphere, especially after Keyshawn hit that game winner. And they carried that momentum there on Saturday, too. Baseball players coming in after just playing a tournament, coming in to support. I mean, it was great. Getting to see them cut down the nets afterward was pretty special. And you can tell how important it was to those kids to cut it down.
Shout out my man Keyshawn Walls before we keep going, because all season long, I'm going to say all season long, but all the games that we were able to call and get out to, on the mic, I was always talking about, how much of an X factor that Keyshawn Walls was, even though he's a guy that's small, playing down in the post, but he hits that game winner, man. That's got to be great for him.
They're so long. Like, somebody asked me, like, man, are they a great basketball team? I was like, I don't really know. They have a bunch of great athletes. And they got some dudes that can hoop, but they're so long. And I guess from what I've seen against the 3A teams, they're just bigger than everybody else. And on top of that, they're well coached. They don't make a ton of mistakes. I mean, they get out of control sometimes because they're such good athletes, but they're coming down, they're running the play every time, and they're just good. And then it blows my mind on how we got to this point. You were at the Jefferson game.
Mm-hmm.
They could have very easily have lost that game.
They could have.
And I'm going to be honest, they probably should have. Barring whatever that was they tried to do at the end of that game.
Yeah.
All right. And here we are going to the state tournament.
Exactly.
Knocking off Ponder, who beat Dallas Madison, the number 1 ranked team in the state. And everybody, Ponder's a basketball team. We're going to have to play great basketball to beat Ponder. Ponder wasn't that great.
Exactly. Great basketball
I thought Hooks was just as good as them. How is Hook not? Whoever's doing these rankings, we got a problem in high school basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not as bad as football. They don't come out to East Texas. They evidently don't go out to West Texas either. Look at the West Texas teams playing in the state tournament. Like, only teams that are ranked are Dallas area teams.
Yeah.
Houston, Austin. That's
I just think they do it off, like, who do you have on your team as far as, like, basketball player? You know what I mean? And on Hooks' team, I think the only guy, Carvey and Johnson's a receiver as well for the football team too. So I don't know that they actually have any basketball players.
I didn't want to say that, but I mean, yeah.
I know one of the ways that they do it is from one of the websites is they do it by strength of schedule. but it's how can you do a strength of schedule if you truly don't know how good these other teams that they're playing are.
Yeah, I mean, Hooks can't help that they're in whatever district they're in, and it's not a bad district.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
one of their district foes was just at one round short.
Atlanta got beat by Mineola, who they played in the regional finals. I mean, like. Somebody's not doing their job somewhere along the way. We see this in football a lot, not with teams, but with players.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't want to come out to Texarkana. They don't want to come out to Hooks. They don't want to come out to Longview. They don't want to drive all the way out there to do their job. They're just like, oh, well, we'll just put so-and-so from Rockwall in there. Mm-hmm. When realistically, the players – I'm not going to bring up a specific player, but we have players who are better than some of these guys. They just won't come out here to verify it.
Exactly.
So we have to send.
You also have the wave riders too. You know, if there's a guy that's went to a couple of basketball camps or whatever in the summer and he went crazy, he's going to get a higher ranking than the guy that's down here in East Texas. You know, it's just.
And it's a lot of those, like if you know the kid, like if you've met him and talked to him, you're going to favor him over somebody who you don't know anything about.
Exactly.
You know, we get those messages all the time. Hey, tell us about this kid or this kid. Can you send us over this or that? But it's not enough. You know, they need to be doing that more often.
Exactly, man.
So, but anyway. I'm excited about going down the state tournament. This is the first time I've been since Longview won in 93, 94. So it was in Austin then. So I'm not excited about the drive down there, but and then I booked my hotel for the wrong week. I just wasn't paying attention, so I'm just out $600, and there's evidently nothing I can do about it. So because I didn't get trip insurance, and I was just like, oh, I mean, I know I'm going. And then as soon as I booked it, I was like, is it March 15th?
Nope.
This week? Nope. Wrong week. So, yeah, I'm an idiot on that.
That's going to be a legit time. I think a lot of people, because we are in an area that's so sports rich, and we see people win state titles all the time and stuff like that, I don't think that everybody's kind of grasp the effect or how big this actually is that Hooks is going to the state tournament. Basketball is the hardest sport to me to make it to state in high school, and they're doing it in dramatic fashion. I mean, they're winning these games, buzzer beaters. They're coming back from 10 to 12 down in these games, and that's kind of what you have to do to make it to be a state team. You have to go through adversity. You have to go through trials, you know, to get there. And Hooks has done that. We actually our first game streaming Hooks this year they lost, to Atlanta. And then they come back, win the district title. Then they go in the playoffs. They go down early. They win it. You know, they're just making a great story, and that's what makes it great.
That it really is a great story. And then some observations on my end. Hey, the Hooks fans are second to none.
Oh yeah.
Friday night, I don't know how many people live in Hooks. I probably should pay attention next time I roll through there. Mm-hmm. But they had to have all been there. That place was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. And shout out to Ponder, which they don't need as big of a shout out because Frank had me take him to Starbucks, and it was like 5 miles from Ponder. So Ponder wasn't far from Prosper, is what I found out on a map anyway. But Hooks fans were there. They were super loud. I mean, you got the superintendent sitting dead middle of the court. I mean, going in on the refs all game. You know, like
he has to have a reserve seat for just him.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's awesome. You know, just the entire atmosphere. Like basketball is fun, but anyway, pregame in the locker room, like they're about their business.
Yeah,
like that's what I found out about Coach Jackson. Like he's about his business, and you know. They don't play for fun. They play to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there's the completely different tone. Let's just say that there was a completely different tone than I'm used to seeing in general.
Yeah.
You know, and like it was about business. We're not here. We're not happy to be here. Like we're here to win. Yeah. And that's just what it is. And everybody's on that same page. Like it was awesome. The entire experience was awesome. The buzzer beater went nuts. Couldn't help myself. Wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. I just, you know, when you're, because you know, when you're recording, you're either looking at your camera, the little screen on the back. You're not actually looking up like everybody else. So I'm like on the phone, looking at it, and you know, it doesn't look that great on a phone. And then it drains it, and then you barely hear the buzzer, and then it's just like you just rush the court. Yeah. Like you could. I see how college courts get rushed now because I didn't even think about it. I just did it.
Yeah. I thought I didn't get to go to the game on Friday or Saturday, but the round before, I thought the court was going to get rushed. I mean, you talk about Hooks coming out in support. I know they packed out that gym because the game I was at, I mean, there wasn't an open seat on that Hook side. There was actually people standing on the rail towards that third quarter in that game, man. So Hooks, shout out to the whole Hooks community. We always talked about the atmosphere when we come into Hooks gym, and they're taking the atmosphere on the road now. So I think
Hooks is early release Wednesday, no school Thursday, no school Friday.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
So, no makeup either. So, I mean, they're supporting their squad.
Do we have a time on that? They have a send-off on Wednesday also, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they will have a send-off. I know they're having a pep rally tomorrow at maybe 11:30. Send-off Wednesday, which will have some people there. I'm going to leave early Wednesday morning. I got some stuff to do down in San Antonio, or some people to meet that I haven't seen in a while. Thursday at 1:30 is when they play. Excited about that. If they win, they'll play Saturday. So you will be able to watch it, but I urge you to please go. Like, we're going to be covering it, but really down there, all I can really do is photos. I can do a little bit of video, but, you don't know what you're getting on video. It may be a slow game, and it's kind of like, hey, photos may do better in a situation like this.
They win Thursday, they play Saturday for the.
Yeah, if they win Thursday, they'll play Saturday for everything.
Mm-hmm.
For all the marbles.
Yep, and they're playing a team, Childress, is that right?
They're playing Hitchcock.
Is Childress in it or something?
Yes, Childress
okay.
is on the other side.
And he looked it up. Hitchcock is like 6.5 hours away from San Antonio, and I was like, in my head, I don't know why, he was like, it's between Amarillo and Lubbock. And then I was like, well, shoot, how far is Texarkana? Like 7 hours away.
We're even farther.
Yeah, we're further than they are. Because
Yeah.
we were arguing, like, why don't they just have this in Austin? Like, why is it in San Antonio?
Yeah.
This is the worst place to have it.
And look, if you look at the basketball rankings, if you want to look at them and take them, like, believe in them, Hooks is the underdog coming in. They're the only team not ranked in the top 10. All these other teams, I think, are even in the top 5. So
Hooks wasn't ranked in the top 30 entering the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's
no,
wild.
number 33. They're still not ranked.
That's wild. I mean, what, the 2 losses on the year total?
Yeah, I think so.
That's tragic.
Does that sound right? 2 losses?
I don't think it's 2 losses, but I
Might be
think
5
it's something
maybe.
like that.
They're like 32 and 5 or
It's
something.
not.
32 and 5.
It's less than double digits.
Yeah, I know
But
it
I
was
mean,
low.
still, like, they have over 30 wins this season. I think 31. But I mean, still, like, to not be ranked at all is just crazy.
I knew Ponder. They were a good basketball team, but it was ridiculous. That game was ridiculous. I've never seen in my life a team flop as much as Ponder was. I mean, it was just like, if your guy has the ball, when he attacks the goal, you fall down on the ground. Like, the dude guarding Keyshawn wasn't even guarding him.
Yeah.
He just waited for him to get the ball, make his move, and then he'd fall back trying to take a charge. I mean, it was just it was terrible to watch. And they started off the game not calling any of it, and they ended the game calling all of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, these are flops, man.
We just got confirmation. Caleb Fields said they have 5 losses on the season, so it is 5.
I know what I'm talking about.
That's the great record, man. 31-5 at this point. Hopefully they ended up with 2 more wins in the state championship, man.
Yeah, I mean, it had for me, like, I'm just a huge sports fan. I'm a fan of the kids, but like, it had the feels of, like, maybe this is a team of destiny.
Yeah.
Like, I was feeling like it was emotional down there in the court. Like, to see Fountain down there with the scissors, like, climbing up. Like, dude, I in my head, I'm like, dude, I wonder how long this guy's been watching, coaching, all this stuff with all these teams, how big of a moment that was for him personally.
Yeah.
Coach Jackson running up, jumping up over the rail, hugging his wife. I saw his oldest son crying, like, how emotional and how big of a deal this was. Like, it's not very often a team from East Texas goes to the – I mean, the cards are stacked against you.
For sure.
I mean, the talent, the basketball talent, they grow up playing basketball, Dallas, Austin, Houston. And look at the state championship where all the teams are from. Like, so it's the odds are stacked against a team like Hooks going, and, like, they should and very possibly could have lost that Jefferson game.
Yeah.
The Ponder game – in the fourth quarter, that could have very well been a foul, the very last shot of the game of the other team. Same thing in the first overtime. They hit that 3 to tie it up in the second overtime, which was from the corner, not even a 50% shot, maybe a 20% shot to go in every time. And then the buzzer beater, like, this is a team of destiny possibly.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely, like I said, they're putting together the story. I hope they can cap it off with the W, man. That would be great. Not just for them, but for the entire East Texas. Because like you said, teams from around here don't make it to the state tournament very often.
Another thing, the superintendent. Like I've known him since I moved to Texarkana. Like we used to hoop together back in the day, and he goes to the state tournament. I didn't know this, but he goes to the state tournament every year. Like seeing him, cut the net, like just how big of a deal. We know it's a big deal, but to them personally, it means something different.
Oh, yeah, it means something way different.
And to these fans, it's obvious it means something different. Like I expect everybody we saw in Prosper to probably be in San Antonio.
Oh yeah, School's out. They want everybody down there, man. Like I said, I hope they come away with the dub. It would be huge for them and for the entire East Texas area, man. And then just the kids. They've got kids on that team who ball. We've watched ball since they were freshmen. You know what I mean? We saw them get their first varsity experience, stuff like that. So
it is wild looking back on that, because when you look back to like when Damien was playing, a lot of these kids were young, and I mean, they're still a young team right now.
They're still young, yeah.
So I don't know. It's been great to watch, and I like covering Hooks, man. There's just a great fan base, great kids. Coach Jackson's top notch. It's fun to watch.
It is. That's a great moment for them. It's going to be even more great moments here in this next weekend. But this past weekend was also some great moments for a lot of college athletes as well.
Yeah.
NFL Combine.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were talking about Lauren Allred, but okay. If you didn't know, former Texas High Tiger softball player Lauren Allred plays for Raging Cajuns.
Yes,
Which one is that?
Louisiana.
Lafayette, Louisiana. Lafayette.
They're just Louisiana.
They're just Louisiana now?
They're in Lafayette, but they're just Louisiana.
Okay. Goes to play against the Longhorns. Hits 2 home runs. She's a freshman, true freshman. Shout out to her. Really happy for her.
Yeah, big shout out to Lauren Allred. We saw her smack a few home runs last year at Texas High. Great softball player, great athletic family. We also see little brother playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Doty, Texas High insider for us. He knows more.
He didn't even know about it. I had to tell him about it.
Social media team doesn't even post her, so I don't feel like she plays. But she's played 10 games so far this season, 3 home runs in 10 games. I mean, she's doing good. She has like a 455 average, I think, so far. So I mean, she's continuing where she left off at Texas High, and
that's the Doty I know.
Keeping up with it.
That's the Doty I know right there.
I might need to start. Hey, you know what? He may be like Brandon. We just assume everything he says is right. He may just be making all.
I mean, I can send you the PDF from their website.
He probably looked after a little while ago.
I did, because I didn't think she played, and because they never post her.
Brandon, why does Morgan think you? Why does Morgan think you have all these non-facts that you believe are so concrete?
Let me tell you something about Brandon. If Brandon wants to make a point, he'll say anything to validate his point. And he'll throw random numbers out. And, what he doesn't know is, back in the day, I went to all these sales trainings when I was at Verizon. And, you can say 90% of the time that 70% of the time stuff happens. And you're just going to believe it because you're talking a percentage. That's what Brandon does. Brandon, to validate his point, he'll throw out some random stat. But I watch enough sports to know that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And I fact check him, and he hates it because he's never right.
Hey, you got to throw it out there. Sometimes it works. But the NFL Combine was this weekend. A lot of people's favorite time of the year. I'm not really a fan of the Combine. What do y'all think about the Combine? Y'all think it's a great thing for the NFL?
I think it's necessary.
You think it is necessary?
I think it's necessary. And I haven't really ever just thought about the Combine like that. But I was talking to Vincent Taylor, Elite Loyalty. He's an agent, and I just happened to talk to him while he was down there for the Combine. Didn't even know he was there. I just needed to talk to him about something. Called him, and he was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Do you have any kids there?" And he's like, "Well, not this year, but I'm sure I'll leave here with a few." These kids go down there. And I don't mean like the kids from Georgia and Alabama. It's the ones that get invited that are borderline, and this is their performance judges if they get drafted or not.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's necessary for those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the kid from Georgia, he was probably going to go big anyway. Then he messed around and runs a 4.39 or something, and now he'll be a top 2 or 3 pick now, and he was a first rounder in the beginning anyway. Yes, the Combine matters for that reason because you have a player is good.
I appreciate the Combine. I just think that sometimes we let the things that people do in the combine get in our heads a little bit too much, and we tend to shy away from actual game tape.
Yeah.
There's one person in specific. He's probably going to be the top quarterback drafted because of this. Anthony Richardson is not good. He's not a good quarterback. He's a very.
You need to be able to judge how good of an athlete someone is, and the combine does that.
Well, yes,
it has nothing to do with football IQ.
He's an outstanding athlete. Nobody has ever questioned that.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're not the ones drafting. If they want to make that mistake, they can. But I do believe I need to know if Bijan Robertson runs a 4.740 or a 4.47 40 like he did.
Wow.
And that's what because people were saying people were saying he was slower than a 4.65 and he runs a 4.47. Okay, now that validates.
But this is my thing right here with that whole situation. Okay, you got Bijan Robinson right here. People are saying he runs a 4.7. And you don't know if he does or not. But you turn on his game tape and he's got 3 years with over a band at the University of Texas rushing the ball. I don't care if you run a 4.7 or a 4.6 or a 4.5.
You should
can run for
because the NFL level is the best athletes in the world.
But there's a running back in the NFL right now who runs higher than a 4.4 that rushes for a band every year.
And so, he may have a great offensive line, but it matters in the end. We've seen it over and over. End of a game, a running back catches a dump pass, and that speed matters if you need 6 or 7 yards. Like it's like running backs are a dime a dozen.
If you run a 4.7 or a 4.4 and I need 6 or 7 yards, you both going to give me 6 or 7 yards. What I'm saying is the guy can come in and can be a subpar quarterback.
All right, well, let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this again. Okay. Same player. Who you taking? 4.7 or 4.47?
Who runs the ball better?
No, same player. Who are you taking?
What do you mean same player?
If the two guys are the same, who are you taking? You're going to take the 4.47 guy.
Yeah, but who? There's not.
I mean, there are a bunch of Bijan Robinsons in the league.
Are there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of 225 pound running backs.
But can they run the rock like him? That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's going to be identical.
The combine like puts a blind over your eyes a little bit to like how good of a football player is this guy actually. Like Florida has not been in contention with Anthony Richardson as their quarterback at all.
He's a tremendous athlete, but if you go and look at his games, he's not a good quarterback. He doesn't have the good IQ. He overthrows. There's
a lot of things you got to take in consideration. Offensive line, receivers. There's tons of things to take into consideration.
And if you draft him number 2 overall with a horrible O-line, a horrible wide receivers, what makes you think he's going to be any different?
I didn't say I was going to draft him. I'm just saying.
I don't care what you think is you're going to draft him. The people that are saying that he's going to be the number 1 quarterback taken, already in a bad offense.
My opinion is the combine is necessary because of those guys that aren't on those super teams. Like, we need to know those 3rd round through 7th round guys. It's necessary for them.
And nobody's disagreeing with that.
I just think it's like Dodie said, it takes away from the game tape. Like, at this point, I think because game tape is almost like there's a guy like Texas, their 2nd string running back was also in the combine as well. Most people don't get their 2nd string in there, but he was in the combine. And he had some pretty good numbers in the combine. Now, for him, okay, yeah, maybe the combine was a good thing, but if you could already run the rock good enough for them to invite you to the combine, they were already looking at you anyway. I just think the combine blinds us to what is actually out there. You can go to the combine, run a 4.3, have barely any yards during the season as a receiver, and you'll probably go pretty high in the draft. And I think that's kind of trash.
Like, why should I care if my quarterback breaks the broad jump record of the combine?
Y'all keep bringing up this one guy, and I'm telling you that guy doesn't matter to me.
He's just the biggest this year. But it happens every year.
Your opinion,
Jamarcus Russell?
It's everybody's. Like, they are saying that this guy who was nothing is all of a sudden the number 1 quarterback going to be taken.
Okay. Well, I mean, good for him.
But, like, that's a big example of you can't just stare at NFL combine stats whenever you have.
I hope this dude balls out so I can make fun of y'all next year.
He's not, though.
he may, but I doubt he will because the tape says otherwise. The tape says he's subpar. But you got to look at guys like
Jamarcus Russell 2.0.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Jamarcus Russell was a huge thing of that. He comes in, throws the ball out of the stadium in the combine and everything like that. But go back and look at his tape. You know what he shows you he was going to be trash in the league. And then who else? There's been a few quarterbacks that have gotten a bunch of bread off the combine. And then also you can be an O-lineman and give up 10 sacks a year and go to the combine and bench press 40 reps at 225 and you're going to move your draft stock up. I think that's insane almost.
Who was the DB for the Cowboys a couple years ago that had like the crazy combine?
Claiborne.
Yeah, he was a 1st round pick or a 2nd round pick for them. He got a lot of money.
and was garbage.
It's not garbage.
Claiborne was garbage.
No.
Morris Claiborne was
Claiborne?
trash.
He had to guard the one.
it wasn't Claiborne. It was Byron something.
Yeah.
Byron Jones.
Like, listen,
Yeah, not Claiborne.
Byron Jones is about to be retired now.
what happened to him?
Well, he's complaining about like health and stuff, and how he's not being able to make it throughout the league. Like he can't have a high tenure in the league, and so he looks like he's about to retire. He's on the Dolphins now or something like that. But I mean, he's not as big of a name.
Yeah,
as
they
he
let him
was.
go because they couldn't afford after his rookie contract. They couldn't afford him. That's right.
The Cowboys had the worst DBs in probably NFL history.
Oh no, the Cowboys.
Outside of Deion.
The problem is they have no real number one cornerback, so they're having to put guys that aren't bad, but they're good to guard the best wide receivers in the NFL one-on-one with no overtop help. That's the problem with the Cowboys.
I guess.
There's only five, maybe five elite cornerbacks in the NFL. That might be pushing it at five.
Yeah.
And so you can't say, "Oh, this dude sucks" because he can't guard Stephon Diggs. Like nobody can guard Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but I'm just.
And everybody else has over the top help. Cowboys can't give it because their run defense wasn't great, especially 2 years ago. So they're just out there on an island. I mean, you get beat in the NFL. You know this. The cards are stacked against the defense.
Oh, yeah.
As it goes in, the defense is supposed to lose every time.
Yeah. That's how they sell the tickets. But I just go back and just think about all the bad Cowboys DBs. I mean, there's been a bunch.
Hey, Buddy Shelton said, Morgan, for the record, schools who go to San Antonio don't rival with Redwater. And my argument to that, schools that don't rival with Redwater don't talk about Redwater. And you talk about Redwater all the time, buddy. That is y'all's rival.
That came out of nowhere. Nobody said
I mean,
anything.
out of nowhere.
That came
Out of
out of
nowhere,
nowhere.
Buddy's talking about Redwater's not their rival. And he's sitting here talking about Redwater over and over.
That was Miss Game. They just made an appearance on the show for the first time.
And she did it. Oh, no, I'm behind. I was like, she did it again?
Sorry. It's normally not there.
Let's talk about dumb stuff, Jennifer Byes, real quick.
What's been the latest?
She's starting a garden that's going to be about
I saw this.
about 5 feet long. It's going to be raised. I'm going to end up having to bulldoze this thing over with a lawnmower here in about 3 months.
And then there's going to be the snake den underneath it too.
Yeah, there's going to be snakes out there. There's a lot of stuff she don't understand what's about to happen. And plus, our yard isn't level, so she's got these things. She's going to set it there, and every time it rains, the water's going to take all the stuff and put it throughout the yard. This is going to be just an absolute.
Isn't there also some like slug face stuff over there that you just bought?
Snail mucin.
Oh, snail
Snail
mucin. My
mucin.
fault.
What
My
is
fault.
that?
I got it
Snail
right.
stuff to put on your face.
I got it right.
So like the stuff they leave in the trail when they're crawling. That's what you're putting on your face now.
Yeah.
Buddy, you talk about it too much for it not to be a rivalry.
Yeah, hey, buddy.
It's a rivalry now, buddy.
Who was there any flops at the combine? I didn't watch it all. I really just watched the quarterbacks, and I got upset.
I didn't watch the combine. I just saw I saw the dude from Georgia run the 4.39, and they compared him to like Aiden Hutchinson and all them. He's a grown man.
I know Bryce Young's height's been brought up. If he's like this, he's even
said
shorter than Kyler Murray.
He said he was 6 foot. He's 5'10" and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's shorter than Kyler Murray.
Well,
So
you know, Kyler Murray went to the combine with the fro, so that was kind of cheap. But
but like I mean, there's pictures of them standing side by side during those like Heisman.
Dude, if you win a
house
Heisman,
stuff.
why are you even going to the combine?
exactly,
Like,
There's
don't
a
even
lot of
just
guys
don't
that probably
go.
shouldn't participate.
Like
Kyler was in the combine with the Nora Ray.
yeah.
what you need to do is get like a big corn roll that just goes right down the middle
Right
of your
down
head.
the middle. For real though.
Like what
know-
Bijan has.
My first
Get
first
you an extra
ever
2
official
inches.
height was 5'11" and a half. So I think sometimes it's kind of cheap.
Hold on, you were 5'11" and a half?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I've always heard that it's like completely different than what we think it is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is your true, this and that. Like, dude, you ain't 5'11".
Exactly. 5'11" and a half was my official, my first ever official thing.
You're
And I was
6'3"
like,
or so, aren't you?
I'm 6'1" and a half, to be exact.
They gonna give me my 6 feet if I go. They're gonna
Yeah, I was like, what? 5'11"? I ain't never heard that my whole life. But yeah, it's a little different. So yeah, I can see him measuring kind of short of what he thought.
You went to the
but-
combine?
No.
Oh, I thought you.
They come. You do pro day.
I'm finding new stuff out every day.
No, you
dude,
do pro
dude's-
day. You do pro
dude
day.
sacked. Who'd you sack?
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
Oh, apparently the backup quarterback for that team was giving other teams plays.
Yes, I saw the
opponents.
Washington team.
Well, just like opponents in general.
Yeah, one of the XFL quarterbacks was giving teams the playbooks.
Yeah,
and like telling them what plays they're going to run.
Paxton's backup was doing it.
That's wild right
That's-
there.
I guess he was mad Paxton was playing.
I guess.
Exactly.
Speaking, I don't know
I
why I
wouldn't
just
wanna
brought
do that 'cause
Washington
your win
up,
bonus. Why would
but
you
the
do
biggest hoe move ever is being done in Washington right now.
that? What is it?
The Redskins. All right, so y'all know
Commanders.
or whatever. I guess I should apologize. Commanders. Dan Snyder is kind of being forced to sell the team. He won't let Jeff Bezos bid on the team, and I kind of agree with him on that. Jeff Bezos, the Washington Post has been the ones that have been like hardest on the Redskins and going out of their way to make stuff up and find stuff and create problems to devalue the team so Jeff Bezos could eventually buy it. So I'm with Dan Snyder on that. Like, you know what? I'm not going to let you benefit from what you've cost.
Yeah.
So, in an effort to increase the value of the team, he's about to give away the farm for Lamar Jackson. We're talking the rumor is 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds for Lamar Jackson. And that should, in theory, put him on a long-term contract. What are you laughing about?
It's not real. That was all.
I'm not talking about the Adam Schefter thing. I saw this on ESPN this morning.
Oh, you did? Oh,
The Adam Schefter thing, yeah, I saw that.
yeah. That wasn't real. That was to mess with
Schefter saying
PFT.
it was happening actually.
So,
Yeah, well, so it was a Pardon My Take interview, and one of the guys is a Commanders fan and has been really hyped about Lamar Jackson, and Adam Schefter messed with him, acting like he got a text saying that it was about to happen that day, and then he made PFT think the entire time that it was going to happen, and then at the end he told him that it was fake. But I mean, he already knew.
but what that explains, it could explain Bielema. Is that how you say his name?
Brett Bielema?
Taking the offensive coordinator job at Washington. Like, why would he leave the 49ers? Why would he do all this
Bieniemy?
stuff?
The enemy.
Bieniemy. But if he knew, hey, this was in the works and could happen, maybe that's behind it. I don't know.
I don't know either, but hey,
I hate the Commanders.
Lamar to the Commanders would be tragic for Lamar, but great for them for sure.
I don't know if Washington, outside of quarterback play, is a bad team.
They're really not. And I mean, they just got rid of Carson Wentz, which opens up a lot of
he
cap
was winning.
space.
It's organizational issues, though. I feel like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're looking to sell,
Yeah.
so I mean
Yeah, true,
that
true,
helps.
true.
I mean, once the new owner's in place, I think it'll help a bunch, and we won't have that stink of
See,
Washington as much.
I don't think that's true. Like,
Dan Snyder's awful.
How much? of the
Dan
owner
Snyder
is
may
on-
be awful, but the New York Knicks owner's awful. Like,
mean,
I think a
people
lot of
complain
this
about him too, though.
But I think because where we live, we think every owner's like Jerry Jones, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
know,
I
I
mean?
know there's good owners.
Like
But
hands-on or
they're
what?
not hands on.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
just own this team.
Well, no.
Like-
There's owners like Steve Cohen and the owner of the Padres, and like there's people that are hands on, and they do a good job of it. Dan Snyder has way more problems than just.
I don't even
a
think Dan
team.
Snyder's hands on.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think he's saying is
But I
Dan
mean,
Snyder
like-
actually hands on? Is he the cause of?
But I mean, it's
I
not.
think
it's-
because everybody hates him and he's the owner. Just like if the New York Knicks had some big allegation come out that 2 managers were doing, high-ranking people, that New York Knicks owner, I can't think of his name, would take the heat for it when he has nothing to do with it. You can't control what someone's doing. You know, and I feel like a lot of this with Dan Snyder is not self-inflicted.
Yeah.
But he's not liked.
No, not
And
at
then,
all.
but if Jeff Bezos never bought the Washington Post, none of this would have ever happened because they're the only people that go out and dig stuff up, just trying to make something a bigger deal than what it is.
Yeah. The group ownership that is being brought up, like the people that are going to go in the group that could possibly buy the team, I don't think. I mean, they're just not very football savvy type people. I think like KD and stuff like that. Like, I don't think.
Alex Rodriguez group is trying to buy it.
Yeah. So
Well, he already owns the Timberwolves now too. So I mean,
I just think a lot of these guys, like, I think somebody that is very football savvy and loves the game of football needs to buy the Commanders to turn their organization around. If you're just going to buy it for it to be another something you own and have a stake in or whatever, it's going to remain the same. They're
I
gonna
want
be
Elon
bottom
Musk to
two.
buy it.
Elon Musk.
Make it they shoot rockets off at halftime or something.
I think another thing about getting Lamar for the Commanders also too is, hey, if we're not going to win ball games, let's at least get somebody in here that's going to sell these tickets
That's
and,
the thing.
and put on a show.
I'm telling you, dude, I don't think they're a bad football team. They just need a quarterback.
We'll see.
I mean, they have 3 solid wide receivers. They just need somebody to throw it to them.
Yeah, like
And I
dude,
mean,
they're on paper they're good. Their quarterback plays bad.
defense needs a little bit of work, but I mean, they're still not bad on defense either, though.
I'm not going to say they're horrible.
They
but
almost
they're
made the
bad.
They almost made the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
They had a chance to make the playoffs there at the end.
We ain't gonna talk about that. But
Why?
because
Because it doesn't go with what he's trying to say.
it does go with what I'm trying to say, but I just think that it just goes back to my thing. They play. I mean, they get to play the trash Cowboys twice a season.
The
You know
East-
what I'm saying? The Giants 2 times a year.
East-
I mean, those are 4
The
wins.
East, the
No,
East
no.
was good this year though.
They're
They
playing each-
were the NFC worst, and now they're the NFC. They were the NFC beast this year. Like for real. Like
You can't. Hey, he's not a fan of nobody.
they
Let's
had
just
they had
move on.
three of their.
I'm
They
not a
had
fan,
3
so
of
I
the
get
4
to see
teams
it.
make
I
the
get to see it
playoffs.
from a wide view, and then they turned around and trashed with the Giants and said they were trash. They shouldn't even been in the playoffs.
The Giants ended up beating the Vikings, and then they had their own NFC East team win. So I mean, like the NFC East was good this year. I'm not gonna. hate on
NFC
the
East was
NFC.
good this year.
They were higher
Washington
this
would have
year.
made the playoffs in almost any other division.
The Cowboys are trash. The Giants are trash.
They definitely would have made it in the
Commanders are
South
trash.
if they were in the South. they
I'm
would've-
not saying
South is
where this
awful.
division is just so great outside of the Eagles.
I mean, you're a hater, so
I mean, I'm just saying outside of the Eagles, it's not very great. But I do got a question of the day. I'll start off with y'all's question first because y'all never get it right anyway.
well, because you ask us stupid questions that nobody's going to get right.
Who was the first baseball player
So
to appear on a Wheaties box?
I ain't going to get this.
Barry Bonds.
No.
Bo Jackson.
No. Good answer, though. Go ahead, Cam.
Nolan Ryan.
Nope.
No,
Oh,
they ain't
that's a
putting
good
Nolan
answer.
Ryan on the Wheaties box.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to get.
Ken Griffey Jr.
First baseball player, guys. Y'all are too young. Y'all are too young right now.
Then why
Hey,
would
Bruce?
you ask the question then?
That's error. Great error.
Ted Williams.
Nope.
Jackie Robinson.
Nope. Buddy Shelton said Ken Griffey. No, sir.
Buddy
that's not
Shelton. Buddy Shelton.
it. Y'all ready
Had-
for
he,
this?
needs to
Satchel
worry, he needs to worry
Paige.
about that blue and
Oh,
white over
no.
Redwater.
First
Brandon
baseball
may
player
actually
to
know
be on a
this.
Wheaties box.
Brandon's been up there.
First
good,
baseball
man.
player. Put your phone down, Brandon. First baseball
Talking to the
player
mic.
to appear on a Wheaties box.
Babe Ruth.
Nope.
I've already guessed that,
been
but
guessed.
he said it's close to that era.
Are y'all ready for the answer? Or y'all want us to cover
Cal
more guesses?
Ripken Jr.
Nope.
Closer to that era or this era?
No, closer
that
to
era.
Babe than
Closer
Cal
to
Ripken.
Babe.
Mickey
That
Mantle.
was in the 80s. What?
Mickey Mantle.
No.
I
Morgan,
found
one
out
more
that-
guess for you.
I ain't
my
gonna
friend's
get it
cousin.
right. I can't name a player outside of what I've named.
All right. It was Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig, guys. Come on, man. Adrian Pickett
R.I.P.
said Pete Rose. You know he didn't get on no Wheaties.
He might have beforehand.
Yeah, he wasn't.
R.I.P.
Should they let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
They should.
I must
yeah.
have said Sandy Koufax. They pulling names out of the hat, boy.
You know what I don't like about baseball's voting?
What?
That you get to know who the voters are. So if let's say let's say 200 people have votes. If 199 of them vote for this guy to be the MVP, this one guy won't, so he can go on an interview tour and explain why he didn't. I hate that.
Yeah. I hate the baseball voting anyway because they ain't let my boy in. So it's whatever.
Who's your boy?
Barry,
Oh, yeah.
the best hitter ever.
Facts.
You,
No
you
argument.
like Barry or you know?
I don't care one way or another. I mean, I think, if y'all are going to talk about how pure the game is and all this, I don't think you can include Barry Bonds in it.
He never tested positive for steroids.
You-
I mean, but come on.
It
dog.
doesn't take steroids to have the ability to hit a ball.
yeah, it does.
Well, he looks completely different than he did when he came in the league. And
You might have
he
more
looks like
power.
a- he
you might
looks like
have
an
more
unrecognizable
power. You
person.
might have more power.
compared to the dude who walked
You
into
might
that
have more
league.
power, but it still takes the same skill to hit a ball.
Exactly. And he had a 29-inch bat. I mean, it was just a bunch of things that went into it. But also, I think if you don't test positive for steroids, that shouldn't be a knock against you, regardless of what people may
I
think.
mean, come on,
Popular
dog.
You
opinion.
do know Lance Armstrong never tested positive either, right?
And I don't think he should get all the ridicule he got.
Right.
But he also came out and said, I did it too. But that's a different story. Barry Bonds said, I didn't do it. Y'all tested me. I never popped. What's the issue?
You can't explain the body transformation.
I don't have to explain
His
my
head
body
even got
transformation.
bigger.
That's the thing, though. Why should I have to explain
It's
my
true,
body
Cam. I mean, it's
transformation?
true.
No, I'm gonna do roids. That's what I'm gonna start
His body transformation shouldn't have to be explained. You tested me for steroids. Like DK
Come
Metcalf
on,
just
man.
DK Metcalf just dunked the ball a bunch of times in a basketball game. The next day they drug tested him. He tested negative. What if everybody would say, "Oh, he still did. He's still taking something." We
DK
didn't
Metcalf has looked like that. He came in the league looking like that. Barry Bonds looked like Doty and came out and finished his career looking like whatever that dude was that won the Mr. Olympia.
Like you look when you were 22.
And I ain't swolled up either. It would be obvious if I was on steroids.
He was fat at the end.
No.
Come on, he was.
Dude,
fat.
he was on roids.
Fat.
He was on roids.
He was fatter. Like he didn't have a roid body to me. Yes, his head was bigger, but he didn't have a roid body to me. People that are on roids.
People on roids have that. Have you ever seen the dudes with the six pack, but they got a belly?
Yeah.
He had that. He was
didn't
on
have a
roids.
six-pack. He didn't have.
I bet he had that muscle belly.
He was a big.
Means his organs are literally popping out. His brain was getting so big, his head grew. Like dude was on roids. How are we arguing about this?
He had that money. He was eating good.
That's he was eating good.
Yeah, he eating
man.
so good,
Come
his
on.
head got big.
He was
I mean,
eating
come
good.
on, dog.
Hey,
Ruth Chris.
shout out to all them cats out there on the kayaks in McCovey Cove, man. Barry Bonds. That's
Last time I was there, I didn't go to one of their games. I don't know where anybody parks down there. There's nowhere to park.
yeah, you said.
Like, dude, I for real, there is no parking anywhere near that stadium.
Pitchers use the same steroids to throw 100 miles an hour. Is what Adrian Pickett said.
Adrian Pickett ain't never seen no dude gain 100 pounds of muscle in 2 years.
Hey, I got a question for the fans also too. This is a really easy one for the fans. So if they don't get this one, it's tragic. What do the rings represent on the Olympic logo? I already asked Morgan and Dodie this. They didn't know.
You said easy one for the fans, and we didn't even.
That was easy, and you didn't get it.
I don't think that's easy.
I already knew this one before I asked you.
Unity?
No,
We know that's not true.
that was a Brandon Lewis answer earlier. That wasn't right.
Oh,
But
hold
hey,
on.
Okay,
I think I might know actually.
Go ahead.
Does it have like the rings in general, or like the colors of the
The
rings?
rings, just the rings.
Oh,
The
okay.
colors was not a part
I feel like the colors has something to do with like all the colors appear on a flag, or on all the nation's flags.
That's close to the answer, but that's not it.
What is it?
We'll give the fans a little bit of time. Let's get
A little bit of time to Google it.
let's
I knew that.
well, you got it. Cam already got it.
Let me Google it.
The 5 original countries that participated.
Oh, that's close right there. Nobody's gotten it yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it out
Only
there.
5 countries.
My
Gold every
comments
year.
don't my comments don't come as quick as everybody else for some reason on Facebook. But it's for the continents. The continents of the world. That's what the rings are for. And that's what Cam Jones said. That's funny.
Makes a lot of
Cam got
sense.
it right here, and Cam Jones got
I
it.
thought there were 7 continents.
Cam Jones got that Google on tap.
Cam Jones said
North
5
America,
continents.
North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Europe, Antarctica. There's 6 continents.
Antarctica ain't sent nobody first.
That's a continent.
Antarctica probably has somebody in the Winter
That's a
Olympics.
He got nobody in here.
That's a continent.
But that's what the answer.
That should be our,
continents of the world.
That's a continent.
What's that segment I do?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy theories about Antarctica.
What do you have?
Do you know that you can't just show up on Antarctica? You can't just decide you want to go to Antarctica tomorrow and go there? They're hiding something down there is what the conspiracy theory is.
What do you think they're hiding?
I don't know. Supposedly they got temples underneath the
Nice.
underneath the ice. There's lakes underneath Antarctica supposedly.
Hey, I don't know about the lakes underneath Antarctica, but you know I am a big fan of conspiracy TikTok. And right now we're on Giants. And apparently all these guys have gone to the underworld, the under earth, or whatever they're calling it. And these scientists have these giants down here, and they've been working on them for all these years and keeping them alive and all. It's wild. It's getting crazy. But what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think giants existed? All these islands or giant bodies and things like that?
I think there might be a little bit of proof out there that maybe that actually exists. The Bible.
Yeah,
Start with that.
I was about to say Goliath existed.
But then you can look at even in Egyptian times, they have those I'm going to call them murals because I don't know what else to call them, but those sketches of giants, hieroglyphics, and the same thing is in the Mexican pyramid, Mexico pyramid. I mean, I think there's a lot of there's too much stuff out there to say yes, they did exist. Now, was that they just happened to be 7 feet tall, or are we talking like true 9 and 10 foot people?
If we talking giants, they can't say 7 footers.
Well, I think that back in the day, the average size of a man has always gotten bigger, supposedly. So, yeah, I'm going to go with yes, they existed.
But if it all comes out and it's all said and done, and we're talking about a bunch of shacks running around here, I'm gonna be a little upset. I want if it's giants, I'm talking about 10, 11, 12. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Man,
Like,
we even saw it in that whatever that show was on HBO with the dragons.
You lost
Game
me.
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game
They
of
had Giants
Thrones.
in
Never
Game of
watched that
Thrones.
episode. I'm still in that population. I've never watched the episode. of Game
Well,
of
I
Thrones.
couldn't understand it half the time, so I quit watching it. There's too much going on.
Hey,
There's
there's a lot going on. Speaking of a lot going on, man, baseball and softball are in full swing in the 903 East Texas
Buddy
area
Shelton's
here.
about to get ratted out for not working right now.
That boy Buddy said, Cam, I'm going to call your boss and see if he appreciates you on the drop on his dime. Cam Jones, I don't know where you work, my boy, but you might want to sign on up.
We'll get you a permission slip.
But baseball and softball is full swing around here, man. There's been some great games. We've got to see a few. We've got to cover a couple of tournaments, I'll say, so far. But what are y'all seeing out there on the diamond?
It's been really good baseball so far. I mean, everybody's got a good record so far to start the season. I mean, played some good competition, and
This PGLE
Looking
game's going to be
solid.
legit.
Yeah.
LE's really good. PG's got all this up-and-coming talent. It's going to be fun.
oh yeah, I'm looking forward to those games especially. I mean, PG started out a little bit slow, but I mean they've played good competition in their tournament play so far, and they're looking to get right as soon as district starts for sure. And then I mean LE's undefeated so far to start the year, 9-0, dominant this past weekend in the border battle, and they're gonna have they don't have a week game this week, but they'll play in a tournament at Hallsville against some good opponents in Hallsville this weekend.
Yeah, that Hallsville tournament, always a tournament that puts people from this area, the 4A level, you get to play against the 5A teams in that tournament. It's always a good tournament to start the year. Coach Jones loves going down to that tournament, and Coach Fowler's won that tournament a couple of times also. So it's going to be some good baseball this weekend for Liberty Yellow.
Yeah, I know Hallsville's a ranked team this year in 5A, and
Hallsville won state 2 years ago.
yeah, I
Made
mean,
it to state semifinals or maybe even state last year. Or maybe they won it last year.
I don't remember, but I mean, I know that they are a very talented team, and so I mean, to go down and have that good competition and kind of work your way up, and as you get ready for district play, and it'll help prepare you for playoffs as well. But we also know that, I mean, despite not having a game this week, we know that Coach Fowler, Coach Jones, and that coaching staff are going to work their guys just as hard and keep them in shape for this weekend.
Most definitely. And then my favorite performance so far that I've seen this year is actually from Arkansas High. I like that pitching staff that they put out there the other night. They kind of win by committee the other night over there. Man, they had a pitch count because their first game of the season was right before their first district game. How crazy that sounds. But they pitched by committee, and they got a dub, and they've got a couple of dubs since then, haven't they, Dodie?
Yeah, they're 2-1 so far to start the season. Ty Wade with 2 home runs, and they actually walked him 3 times against Lakeside.
I told you.
tough, man.
This
I
last
I told
time.
y'all it was coming.
They walked him 3 times, and so they ended up coming out with a loss in that game. I think it was 8-5, I
That's going to
believe.
be a long season for him if they start doing that.
Told
But
y'all.
they pick it back up again tomorrow against Benton at home at 5 o'clock. So make sure to go out and watch them. The Hooks boys are 8-2 so far to start the season. Went 3-1 in their tournament this weekend. So shout out to Hooks.
So the softball team plays at 5 and the baseball team plays at 5 tomorrow at Arkansas High?
yes.
Double doozer.
Yeah. So like, I think it might just be an Arkansas thing, but yeah, they play. They both play at home instead of your. That's kind of a thing with Arkansas is they're able to play both home games in all sports instead of doing a home and home
I like
between
that a
boys
lot
and
better.
girls.
I'm not a fan of this.
One
Your,
team
your
here,
varsity
one team
girls plays there.
Yeah.
Dude, they need to go back to like the 3A schools do it. This 4A and above. This is
Yeah.
like you're not going to pack a gym out doing what they're doing.
Exactly, or a field, or whatever sport it is. You got to keep them together.
And the only reason that these 4A and 5A schools do it is because they have freshman, JV, and varsity teams on both sides. Whereas 3A and lower, they only have
did it
JV
when I was
and
growing up.
varsity.
He said they did when I was growing up.
Gyms were
I had a
packed.
really good joke right there, but I ain't
Spring
gonna
Hill?
pull it out. I
At
had, a
Longview.
really,
I went to Spring Hill 2 years.
I had a really good joke, but I wasn't gonna pull it out. It wasn't even about that either. Y'all so crazy.
Cam's just mad because they didn't have sports at his school.
Is
That
that
was
true,
cool.
Cam?
Hey,
That's not true.
Not true.
He said that's not
Cam was the team captain of the golf team. Let that sink in.
Also not true.
also not true.
Cam's calling Cap.
Cam, you played golf. You told us you did.
I did, but I never said I was no captain.
Wasn't no
captain,
captain.
Maybe I would just
Cam also does not know how far 400 yards is.
4 football fields.
Cam claimed he hit a golf ball 400 yards. Frank measured it out on Google, and it was like 128 yards.
Close enough.
Like, if you hitting it out there, you hitting it out there, I guess. Hey, what we got coming up this weekend in baseball or softball?
So everybody will be out of town. Oh, in softball or in both? And we have a lot of softball games here in town. I know Arkansas High plays tonight and tomorrow as well. Texas High plays Tuesday. And I believe, hold on, I have it written down. 2 games at home this week, Tuesday versus Pine Tree, Friday versus Tyler. I know Liberty Yellow has a game Tuesday against Dangerfield. And then I think PG has a game Friday at home as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have a lot of softball in town, not a whole lot of baseball. Arkansas High will be at home, but everybody else should be out of town. Liberty Yellow didn't play any single games this week until they go to Hallsville. But I mean, we still have a lot of good talent. Arkansas High softball team started out 0-1, but they'll play their second game tonight at home and then continue tomorrow. Hooks has been dominant, 11-4 so far this season, with a big 13-0 win and a close loss to Alito this weekend. PGs started out 7-1, but they were 2-1 on the weekend with 6 extra base hits, and Presley Humphrey getting a big 2-run home run.
Her 4th of the year, right?
I believe so. 3rd or 4th, I believe.
If we had our ranking or our stat things out, we'd know that somebody had to work on all day Friday. So adamant about that.
And Liberty Yellow, so far 5-9 on the year. Ja'Kiah Ray hit 2 home runs this weekend, one being a 3-run walk-off home run against Waldron. So a lot of good talent on softball and baseball team.
There we go. Hey, got a lot of talent around the area right now. Make sure y'all get out to these baseball and softball games. Support these athletes because they really are putting on some good shows. We've seen some great arms on the mound, some great hitters at the plate. It's gonna be a great year this year, leading up to that summer, man. But we got some offers coming through. This week.
We did some big football offers, Division I. We'll start with Caden McFadden, who got a big offer from Memphis this past weekend. Another D1 offer for K-Mac as they're starting to roll in for K-Mac.
Yeah, stock's definitely rising up.
It's impressive to see, and I mean, these D1 schools are finally showing what we've seen so far from K-Mac.
Exactly.
And then going to Caleb Hackelman, he's got 2, one from Memphis and one from Oklahoma State. So it's good to see him get some more offers as they were kind of slow for a little bit, but they're picking back up and, again, seeing what we've already known.
Exactly, man. Shout out to these guys.
Greg Jones over at LE at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Oh, Greg London. Yep.
Not Greg Jones.
Greg London. Yep.
Greg
You got
London.
UAPB this weekend.
Is it Greg London?
Greg London.
Yeah, my bad.
But also W.T. Jones getting
Yep.
an offer from Arkansas State.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. So, I mean, everybody around here getting some love.
Exactly. Our offers coming out of East Texas. We've said it millions of times. You know, this is the melting pot, kind of the mecca of high school sports, if you ask me, especially football. In Texas, man, it's a spot. You see the offers coming out of here left and right, big school, small school, in between. You know, they're just all coming here to get these kids, and there's just something different about the kids from around here.
Damn, I wasn't going to talk about it for your sake, but I just saw the numbers. Derek Carr got signed by the Saints today. 4 years, $150 million, $100 million guaranteed.
Shout out to the Bank of the Saints.
Talking about Jamarcus Russell.
My goodness, that's woo.
I left with 9.
Cam is coming over to my side of the world, which is great for all sports fans. I think if you're really a fan of sports and you don't like to feel dreaded down on a Saturday or Sunday, come on over to my world where you don't have a team. You just get to sit back, watch the games, enjoy them, talk about who you want to talk about, root for who you want to root for. It's really a great lifestyle, Cam. I think you ought to.
It's a terrible lifestyle to not have a team.
It's a terrible lifestyle.
Terrible lifestyle.
It's like going your entire life without a girlfriend, and you just talk about all the girls.
No,
But
that
never-
is
but
not
never
actually
have
what
one.
It is. It is actually a lot different than that. It's actually the total opposite of that. It's like going through life with a ton of girlfriends. Oh man, but yeah,
Nick, you know Wallow and Gilly?
yeah.
I think it's Wallow, and he has a new team every single year, and it's whoever won. And he was like, "I've never been a loser. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. I've just never been a loser."
See, that's a little bit different than what I do. See, I don't bandwagon with the Knicks. I'm not going to, no offense to Cam, I'm not going to jump on the Kansas City bandwagon. You know, I'm not going to jump on Tampa Bay when they won it a couple years ago. I'm not going to jump. Whoever wins, I'm not jumping on that. You know, I respect it. But
Cam ain't going to be able to get away from the Saints because that's all he can watch on Sunday.
I'm just sitting back and watching.
We got Hulu Premium, but we watch my
Yeah,
They got all the games. NFL
I
Sunday.
need to switch to YouTube TV.
If I bet on the team and they win the Super Bowl by default, that's Plan B.
Okay, I like that. I'm not against that. I'm not against people hopping around teams.
You know what we should all do? We should all put like $50, and every one of us bet on a different team to win the Super Bowl. That's not one of the that doesn't have great odds. And if any of us win, then we all split it.
I'm down for that. Like we picking like bottom runners, or like dark horses.
All right, yeah, like hey, we know these teams. There's no chance, but it's a possibility.
Like the Eagles were like plus 2,200 last year. Like, I mean, if you had bet on the Eagles and they had won, that'd be a good payday.
Yeah, I think if I go ahead and say the team I'm picking to do it. If we do this, I'm riding with the Bucks.
Cowboys.
You're riding with the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that's my dark horse team.
Why?
Cowboys.
What makes
I can't
you look?
speak on it yet because everything ain't happened. Cause I don't want to mess the juju.
What makes you look at the
I
Buccaneers
can't say it. I can't
say
speak on it yet. I've been doing some looking.
The Cowboys won't have good odds to win, but I'm gonna bet the Cowboys.
I mean, we
and
They
then-
made
understand
the
why.
playoffs last year. Are they really a dark horse? They're trash. You can have them. You ain't gonna get no money, but you
Well,
can have
remember that
I'm saying.
because I'm not gonna give you your $50 back when they win.
Dolphins for you. They've had a playoff team last year too. That's a good team, I think.
That's fair, but
Yeah.
I can't get past the Buccaneers. Why the Buccaneers?
Because I think they finna do something.
The Buccaneers ain't winning no Super
How?
Bowl.
I think they finna do something that I like.
What could they do to make them a Super Bowl winner?
Give me a week.
Give you a week?
Give me a week, and let's see what happens.
I think I know what somebody. Are you talking about Lamar to the Bucks?
No, ooh, that would be nice though. It ain't gonna be Lamar.
Coach, there's still
There's
coaching issues, and I mean there's still.
I think their coaching is fine. They just I have
What's-
almost the same staff
What's the
as
plan for quarterback? Because I know Kyle Trask is not the plan.
Kyle Trask is not the guy. We drafted somebody.
But at the same
Look
time,
at me saying we.
But, but at the same time, the
drafted
offensive
somebody.
coordinator
Is gone.
But so like the job was open. They went to Kyle Trask to ask him who they wanted at offensive coordinator. So that makes it seem like
We're
Kyle Trask is
drafting.
long term.
No, we're drafting a guy. He gonna come in.
Who you drafting?
Oh, you speak French now.
We drafting a guy. I can't speak on it because it ain't won't happen.
Okay, interesting.
But it's gonna happen. Right? Y'all heard it here first on the drop. I'm riding with the Bucks next season to be the dark horse. And if we do this little bet thing,
All right,
Morgan's riding with the Cowboys.
I gotta
Cam's
think.
riding with the Dolphins.
I got to think.
Real fan.
Brandon, you can't pick the Cowboys.
Go ahead.
Morgan
Hey,
already has them.
hit him with it.
Who?
Let's ride.
No.
Oh, you riding with the Broncos?
No.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Broncos.
No.
You are?
Have a bounce back, yeah.
All right, Brandon's riding with the Broncos.
Funny, I had to
Give
remind
me,
you all that.
Give me
Let's look at their odds. Look up their odds.
No, let's don't do that.
give me Jacksonville.
I'm running out of time
Ooh,
here.
I like Jacksonville.
Give me Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Doty.
That's a good one.
I like their potential. I like
Broncos to Brandon. Morgan's got the Cowboys. Cam. Who'd you say?
The big fish.
Oh, the Dolphins. Cam's riding with the Dolphins. And I'm riding with the Bucks.
I feel like the Dolphins probably have good odds.
What if Derek Carr just goes ham?
That's not good.
I mean, they're playing against the NFC South though. Like
Which
the
is
NFC
garbage
South.
right now.
So he comes in and he's going to be the best quarterback in the South. So I mean, I don't know. It might not be as bad as you think.
Don't even sound right. Don't say that.
Hey,
But I
look,
mean,
check this out.
think about it.
The Panthers, garbage. Falcons, garbage. Bucks, not going to be garbage this year, but
Oh
right
my
now,
gosh.
garbage.
Yes, they are.
And the Saints, garbage. I mean, it's all a garbage league right
It
now.
is. But somehow one team has to make the playoffs from there, unfortunately. So
It's going to be the Bucks. And they're going to slide. I'm telling you. I thought they was going to slide this year. I really could have picked them this year to be the dark horse. I thought they was going to slide, but Brady couldn't get it done.
I thought they'd make it past the first round, but I didn't think they were going to be anything great.
Speaking of going through life without a girlfriend,
What?
What?
you said Tom Brady.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
okay. I was going to say, hold up now. Where we going with this? Hey, but y'all got anything else y'all want to add before we get out of here today?
Go Hornets.
Go
Hornets. That's a good one.
The Waddy Myers relays are scheduled for Thursday this week, so there is rain in the forecast. But
Oh,
Okay.
they'll run in some rain.
Depends on how much rain.
No.
Depends on how much rain. Yeah,
Depends
if it
on how
rains too
much
big,
rain.
I mean, it's only a 60% chance. In Texas, ain't.
We know your weather app is trash.
Yeah, you gotta
It's
get.
literally the Weather Channel.
Shout out Weatherbug. Hey, you gotta
Speaking of weather, shout out to people in Kirby, all that were affected by the tornado this past weekend. I mean, shout out to them, and hope everybody's doing okay.
Exactly, man. If you find it in your heart and find some time to get down there and help out with the cleanup, go ahead and make that trip. Doty said he's on the way after we sign off here tonight.
It's an hour and a half.
Yep.
It's not that far of a drive.
So Doty's on the way after we get down here today, and
You're going out there tonight?
Not tonight, but I mean, I'm planning on helping out at some point.
hey,
Tell me what happened. I haven't even heard about this.
There was a bad tornado up in Kirby. A lot of houses destroyed. A lot of people hurt.
Glad to hear
it's
that.
tough. This time of
Kirby,
year.
Arkansas, up there by the lake.
Yeah, over by Greason. Yeah,
Ooh,
it's about 10 minutes.
I
outside
actually
of
know
Greason.
two guys that have houseboats on that lake.
Call them up. Check on your
What's
friends.
the name of that lake? That's Watchtower.
Greason.
Greason.
This is the
Yeah,
scene.
that's where my church camp is.
Kind of
So
like
I'll go
near
out there.
Albert Pike and all that.
I don't
Kinda.
know if Albert Pike's out there. I'm not sure where that is.
Yeah, it's bad.
I know where it's at, but I'm trying to think where it's at.
Well,
I don't know.
Like
where
I know
it's
I
at.
pass it all the time.
Well, so it's
Little bitty town, right?
Yeah. Well, so that's Kirby's a little bit about 10 minutes outside of Greason, and then you have Daisy, and you have
Yeah, so it's on the way. Yeah.
There's something else out there. It's in between Dirks
I
and
was waiting on it.
Murfreesboro.
Hey, these Arkansas natives finna come, finna come
Derek's.
to the post. Here we go again, guys. Hey, is it Derek's or Dirks?
And I don't mean what do they call it? How is it spelled? How do you come up with Dirks out of that? It's Derek's.
Hey, that's the question of the day.
It's like
folks.
some dude had a mohawk. I'm gonna name this town.
The I comes before the E. It's Dirks.
I'm gonna name this town Dirks. Well, sir, it's spelled. I said we're gonna name this town Dirks.
If the E came, if
And
the
just
E
he had
came
him. He
before the I
hey,
could
he
understand it, but it's
he had a killer mohawk or something, and they were just like, "Yeah, man, we're just gonna let this ride."
Hey, head softball coach Dylan Surratt has entered the chat, guys. Hey, Coach Surratt.
Getting in some dubs.
Getting dubs over there in the ILO. Hey, we shout out to you, my boy.
Shout out.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Also, met your daughter this past weekend.
Uh-oh.
That was cool time. She was a very, very, very well behaved child.
I think
Man.
she had a birthday this past week too.
Yeah,
So
she
shout
helped us out a
to her.
lot. She helped us out a lot at Hawk Hustle. That was actually a really big help.
Surratt's daughter?
Yeah, Coach Surratt.
It was PG?
Yep.
Nice.
Hey, y'all make sure y'all get out to these tracks.
How was Hawk Hustle?
Hawk Hustle was legit. I mean,
Did you make Walker do the gritty?
Walker did not do the gritty. Him and his little homie came up to the front, and they kind of just sat there a little bit. They didn't really they didn't get down like they want to. But in their defense, Mrs. Gameday could not find the song "Right Foot Creep," which was requested about 1,000 times Friday. So she could find it, but not one that we could play in the Hawk Hustle. So they did not hit the gritty. We did see a lot of gritties though. We saw a lot of gritties, a lot of back flips, a lot of back handsprings. There's one girl did a sideways no hand cartwheel. I don't know what that's actually called. I was scared for her. But
Yeah, Stella's been working on that. Evidently, it's
hey,
hard.
let me tell you something.
It looks cool.
My kids will not be participating. Her head was probably about that far from the ground every time she went over. And I was just waiting on the tip. But
Yeah.
it didn't happen. So shout out to her, whoever she was. She's going to be super athletic when she's older. These
Sounds like
kids
she's
are
super athletic
kindergarten.
now.
They's kids are like kindergarten, first, second, third. They're young, but some athletic kids. Saw a bunch of coaches in there, with their hands crossed, doing the watching pose, looking around.
I saw a bunch of Little League coaches in there doing the
Exactly.
same
That's
thing
what
with their
I'm talking
with their
about. That's what I'm
clipboards out.
talking Little league coaches.
You
in
got to
there.
watch. You got to watch Superintendent.
Oh yeah.
You got to watch Pearl over there, man. He'll just because he won't show up to the first grade, second grade. You get in that fourth grade, fifth grade, boy, he's out there looking around. What's your name? You play football? You play basketball?
I'm telling you, you start seeing
You gotta
the
watch
kids that are
him.
running the laps. The kids that are running a bunch of laps, you see somebody pull them off to the side and talk to them a little
Yeah.
bit. I'm like, oh, it's like a real combine in here.
Like y'all are doing this to raise money. Pirtle's doing this to because I don't know if he's ever lost a game in PGY in anything.
That's legit. Yeah, you got to start a dynasty somewhere, right? But hey, make sure y'all get out and watch these athletes, man. A lot of kids putting in
Ordered
a lot
Donovan's
of
coffin.
time.
It came in pretty quick.
What is that?
Donovan's coffin.
Oh,
man.
goodness gracious. But hey, get out and watch these kids. They've been working hard. These coaches put in long hours away from their family. Make sure y'all get out and support, man. That's what it's all about. We're going to do our part on getting as much as we can out to y'all, as much coverage as we can, and y'all do y'all's part by getting your butts in the seats.
Please do.
If that's
Appreciate y'all for watching.
if that's it. This is season 1, episode 7 of